Yo guys, welcome to the video. The following footage is obviously from today's farming. It's a recap of the series as a whole. If you stay till the end, there's a comparison of all the strategies and of course some recommendations for what you can farm. I hope you've enjoyed the series, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you soon. Enjoy. Yo guys, welcome to the video. It's Josh or Milky. You can find me on YouTube or Twitch, MilkyBK underscore. And yeah, this is the final installment in the 5 days, 5 farms challenge. And I mean, the purpose of this was basically for me to have a reasonable answer and a well-informed when someone asks me, where should I go to make money, Milky? Where's the best place to go for mapping? And I wanted to compare a few strategies. Obviously, it's not definitive. The sample sizes play a big part. Also, there's hundreds of strategies you could do, but these were the 5 that I decided to employ. Today we were comparing New Vastia Legion against Glenelg Cairns. But first guys, it'll be timestamped below, everything if you want to go. First we'll go with the strategy, then I'll show you the excellence page and the loot, and then we'll go into the spreadsheet, and then at the end it's going to be a little roundup on all the ones we've done so far in a comparison. So if you want to jump to any of those, feel free. But if not, here we go with the strategy. We were hopping into New Vastia. I was really excited about this one because this node is just way more exciting to me than any of these, right? This is very consistent, but for me, I like the RNG involved. I'm a big fan of it. I play a lot, which means a lot of the time, even the RNG, most of the time I'll still see the rewards anyway, because you only need to drop 100 splinters, right, to get an emblem on average. I play the game enough to drop 100 splinters. I'm going to drop a few emblems, and we did. We dropped plenty, which I'll go into in the loot. And then also, obviously, you've got the additional Warhold, which is going to do tons more splinters. This was actually more annoying than anything. I actually wish I had taken this off, because a lot of the time there's just, even, I felt like I'd full cleared, but even when I ran around trying to find the mob, I couldn't find it, and it just took forever. So if I was going to do this again, I would definitely take this off and maybe just pop it in here or whatever, put some Nico missions on, get some alterations from the divination card. But that's neither here nor there. Now, of course, the Watchstones, it's the exact same as Glenelg Cairns. These are a bit more expensive to get though, because this is more popular to farm. It's just Maraketh. Once again, I just bought them and divined them until they were 95 or above. This is what I hit, 396s and a 100. For yours, they can be anywhere 75 and above, and you're going to get very similar results. I just like having them higher because they might as well be, because if I'm going to get any use out of them, I won't need to change them in the future. But as for yours, you can do it as you go. As long as they're 75, you're going to get decent rewards. Even just tier 1 in general, you're going to get perfectly fine rewards. But that was it for the strategy. It was very reminiscent of yesterday's. It was just plug in a map. As you can see here, it was dunes this time, and the Legion Scarab, and it was just go, go, go. Maybe there's something to be said about using a different kind of Scarab with the strategy to get more splinters. We did roll the Sextant once, which gives you additional Legion encounters, so we did 4 separate maps to the challenge with winged Scarabs, and that seemed okay. It seemed better, like if you just spammed that, maybe it'd be good, but it's obviously unrealistic to think you're going to get the Sextant every now and again. And after looking at the spreadsheet, I actually believe I wouldn't use the Sextants again doing this. I think for this strategy in particular, it's like the Harvest one. The name of the game is essentially speed. You want to drop as many splinters to get as many procs of this as possible, because this will carry you. If every Legion drops like 40 splinters, that's an emblem every 2.5 maps, and the average cost of an emblem when you add them all up and divide it by 5 is about 35C, and these cost 12, and that would be over what, 2.5 maps, 2.5 scarabs is worth about 15C. So you can see it's all about just seeing as many legions as possible. So I wouldn't use sextants. I'd just run in, do the legion, kill the boss, get out, do another one, which is actually why we did 72 maps. The stream actually cut out today. I've had a lot of internet issues, but I've kind of factored that into the per hour. But I did do 72 to get it comparable to yesterday's 72. Yesterday it actually took dead on 8 hours to do 72. Today it took 4 hours and a half. But yeah, that's it for the strategy. Now, if you're not eyeball the loot real quick in terms of what we got, there it is. We got a lot more Maracas emblems than yesterday. A few Templars, obviously the Karuris. These are going to come in handy because we're going to be going back to Harvest. And then, you know, maps, currencies, all that kind of stuff. We've got a few lucky drops down here that we got from just like the boss, and then some Conqueror drops or some Cyrus drops. These aren't included. I did take these out the tab before Excellence. I hope I'll do it again because it's going to redo it. And then these, I think this was from a Trial Master, but I mean it's like 40C, right? You're going to get something worth 40 to 50C if you're doing enough ultimatums. I only do kill, but if you're doing them all, you'll definitely see something within that region. And then, you know, a couple of lucky drops from the the bosses, or I think that was from a Conqueror map, a Vault. So, okay, we'll go over to the Excellence now. Hopefully it's updated. If not, I'll do it. I do know that the value of this, I have it on the spreadsheet. It's not going to update, but it's 2,900 once you take out the Cortex and the Gem, which, as you can see, 600, and then add a coal 90, so take out 690, you're about 2,900, right? But the bulk of it was from the Timeless Maraketh emblems, 11 total at 58C. I can tell you for right now, these aren't 58C. I sold 20 today in bulk for 75C each. So bulk is king. If you have 11, you can probably sell them for like 65 to 70. If you have even more, you'll be looking more at that 75 mark, which I sold 20 of them for today. So yeah, even more profit. But as I say, in every video, I like to keep these real baseline, a real minimum, so you guys get realistic expectations. And then other than that, there's not much to it. Obviously, there's some Elder maps that aren't included on Excellence. We don't factor them in because, again, keep it consistent. There weren't too many other drops. Obviously, the emblems, which you kind of just... so I got a lot of careers. This could just as easily have been like any of the others, right? The Val or the Eternal. Maybe there's something to be said about adding in a Templar Watchstone, but I don't know. I don't think it's worth it. But that's the Excellence page. I'll see if it refreshes so you can see just real quick before we go. No, it's not. Okay, never mind. We'll go head over to the spreadsheet, which is right here. There's the investment, which is 1,029 Chaos Orbs. It's almost identical to yesterday. We just, but the maps were a bit more with it being dunes. You could just farm these yourself. You could run any new Vestia map. It doesn't really matter. But as I say, if the name of the game is speed, then one, I wouldn't use the Sextant. So this would be 220 Chaos lighter, which would obviously increase the profit. And then also, if you're just doing any new Vestia map, this basically becomes non-existent. So you'd only be paying for the Scarabs, which would make it 432C, which is about 4 exalts. You can see what I mean. So if you want to go a bit more minimal, that's what you do. Now, in terms of returns, Excellence was 2,920, which I've just pointed out, and then the other drops were 690. So that equaled about a profit of 16 exalts. Now, that was from 72 maps, but we have been doing this on a time basis, 8 hours. As I say, stream cut out today, I couldn't finish it. It was only 4.5 hours, but that is how I've made this calculation. As you see, 4.5. So it was 3.56 exalts per hour, whereas yesterday we were getting 3.7. So this is... They're very close, right? But I think if you were to remove the Sextants, which are just not needed, this is going to be beating it by quite a margin, because that's like 2 exalts off the investment, right? Which adds on about 0.5, so it's just above 4. And then obviously when you include in the other lucky drops, and if you do enough maps, you are going to get lucky drops, but I just put this here more for something to look at, right? It's closer to 5 exalts per hour. But yeah, that's how the two stack up. There's not much to these two. They're very quick. There's not much to go into. It's literally just a map and a Scarab and you're gone. But now finally we are going to go over a quick look at all of them as a little roundup. Obviously we started out in Lex Juris, which turned out to be, I thought it was a good start. 3.5x per hour is pretty good. But these all kind of blew it out the park, especially considering this was in a much shorter time span, which is what these asterisks are there for. Obviously Harvest, the investment is a bit of a sticky subject, a source subject, whatever. A lot of people are unhappy that I'm putting a strategy that needs 50x of investment into this series, but it doesn't realistically need this much. You only need the map and the Harvest thing. And the other part of the investment that makes up this 50x is the starting tab with all the items that you're going to flip over, which you can obviously do as you go. It will slow you down a bit, but you can do it, right? This isn't an identical investment, because a lot of the stuff I actually put in that tab I didn't use. But I mean, I've highlighted the worst thing in red, as you can see here, and the best thing in green in terms of investment and further down the line. Now, Legion, very cheap. The Lyra, these three I'd say were identical. So for these, I mean, you'd obviously just go with Lyra, right? They're almost identical. Take the same amount of time to run. And even if we did this for another 4 hours, right, it would be roughly the same amount of exalts. So these are so close to each other. But this is obviously including the temples and stuff like that. Maybe you don't want to do that, in which case I'm not sure how it would stack up. We could maybe look into that in the future. But for me, the one thing that stands out to me is Harvest, and that's what I'm going to continue to do. But if you're on a lower investment, then you have 3 perfectly viable options to choose from. I did scale them in terms of which ones I enjoyed. Delirium was awful, I hated it. And it was the worst X per hour, so we can knock down on the head, get it out of it. Lyra, again, it was okay, but not my kind of map. There's too much stuff to pick up, apologies. Harvest, I mean, if you're watching the stream now, how much I've been enjoying that, absolutely love it. I've put the overall rating as a 9 because of the investment. And then fun for Glenark, again, doing the temples and spending all that time in the temples just wasn't fun for me. So that's got a 5, and then New Vesta, an 8. It could be a 9 actually. Now that I think about it, it was really fun to do. We were spawning Cyrus incredibly fast because all you're doing is Legion boss out, Legion boss out, Legion boss out. You spawn Cyrus really quick doing that. But I'm not going to ramble on for too much more. You have that available to you now if you want to use it and decide where you want to head off onto the Atlas. We might come back and because I realized we did 5 different zones here, right? We could finish it off. Maybe we will. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the series. I hope you enjoyed the video. And I hope this helped more than anything. If it did help, feel free to leave a like or subscribe or just let me know. As long as it helped one person, that'll be enough for me. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Or you can catch me on stream, twitch.tv/MilkyBK_. I stream every day from 12 till 8 GMT BST. Thank you very much for watching.